A-Level Biology 9700, paper 5, variant 2, February March 2026, and we are going to discuss question number 1. And question number 1 is the blood pressure in the arteries changes during the cardiac cycle. The highest blood pressure occurs during ventricular systole when the ventricles contract and push blood out of the heart. The lowest blood pressure occurs during diastole when the atria and the ventricles are relaxed. Blood pressure is measured as two values, systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. A blood pressure monitor as shown in figure 1.1 is used to measure the blood pressure in the branchial artery in the arm. So you can see some scientists investigated effect of a 12-week exercise program on the blood pressure of a group of 18 people. The people were aged from 40 years to 64 years but did not exercise regularly and had jobs that mainly involved sitting. So the exercise program consisted of a sequence of 3 activities repeated 3 times a week for 12 weeks. So the 3 activities in each sequence were walking for 5 minutes, running slowly for 30 minutes, and walking for 5 minutes again. So the time spent walking and running, the number of repeats, and the 12-week period were all standardized. Identify two other variables in this exercise program that the scientists should standardize. So students, you can see over here that they have kept constant the walking, running time, and then repeats and the time for 12-week period. So all they were standardized. Beside, there should be some other variables which should be or which can be standardized. As for example, I would like to say that intensity or speed of exercise, and then other environmental conditions during exercise, for example, the constant temperature, humidity, and altitude, or the diet and fluid intake. So the keeping caffeine, alcohol, salt intake, or water consumption, all the timing of exercise sessions, exercising at the same time of the day for every session, footwear and clothing used, and then rest period for sleep, ensuring similar amounts of sleep before sessions or standardized rest intervals before exercise days. So all these can be kept during the day. First of all, I would like to write that is the intensity or speed of exercise. Intensity or speed of exercise during walking and running exercise. And the second can be the environmental conditions such as constant temperature, constant temperature, humidity, and altitude. So, well, they can be kept constant. So now the next question is, on the morning before the start of 12-week exercise program, blood pressure measurements were taken for the group of 18 people as shown in the figure 1.2. Every blood pressure measurement included a systolic and the diastolic blood pressure reading. So it was resting blood pressure was measured while each person was sitting. Number two, each person then carried out a walking test on a treadmill for 15 minutes. The gradient of the treadmill was increased every minute. And then three, after the walking set, the mean blood pressure of each person was determined from blood pressure measurements taken after every 20 minutes over a period of 10 hours. For each person, the scientists calculated the difference between the mean blood pressure after the walking test and the resting blood pressure. So the difference in blood pressure is equal to mean blood pressure after the walking set minus resting blood pressure before the walking. So the mean difference in blood pressure was then calculated for the 18 people in the study. The same blood pressure measurements were taken on the morning after the end of the 12-week exercise program and used to calculate the mean difference in blood pressure for the 18 people in the study. So here they have given one graph. On its x-axis, this is the bar graph. On its x-axis, before 12-week exercise program and after 12-week exercise program, bars has been shown. And on the y-axis, the mean difference in blood pressure. And then the key is systolic blood pressure has been shown with gray colored bar, and the diastolic blood pressure has been shown with without color bars. So identify the independent variable in this investigation. So here in this, you can see the 12-week exercise program or the time of the time stage of the investigation before versus after the 12-week exercise program. So I would like to write over here that is its 12-week exercise program. Now describe the results of the investigation shown in figure 1.3, and we will move towards the 1.3. You can see the figure 1.3, the results of this investigation. So I would like to say that the systolic blood pressure increases after exercise. You can see the before exercise, the systolic blood pressure was at the 0.6 kPa, whereas and it started from 0, whereas the diastolic pressure started minus 0.4 and it ended at 0. So after the 12-week exercise, you can show the systolic started at 0 and it ended at 1.25, something that. And diastolic ended at, started from 0 and 0.4. But in before 12-week exercise, it was started before. So I would like to say the mean difference in systolic blood pressure increased after the 12-week exercise program, whereas it was before, it was not, it was at the same 0.4. So diastolic blood pressure increases after exercise program. The mean difference in diastolic blood pressure increased after the 12-week exercise. It was, I have told you that it was about 0.2 something or 0.34, you can say that. So Diastolic difference changed from a negative value before the program to a positive value after the program. So if we make comparison between systolic and diastolic at both stages, the mean difference in systolic blood pressure is consistently higher than the mean difference in diastolic blood pressure. Let's move to write these results which we have discussed. So we are going to write as first of all systolic, we will write about the systolic blood pressure which increase after exercise. Systolic blood pressure increase after exercise. Exercise program. From 0.64 to 1.28 after an increase of 0.64 kPa. After an increase of 0.64 kPa. So, and the diastolic diastolic blood pressure increase after exercise. Exercise before from 0.334 to 0.44 kPa with an increase of 0.78 kPa. Diastolic difference changed from a negative value, negative value to a positive value. At both stages, the mean difference in SBP is consistently high. So moving towards the next question was part C, which is table 1.1 shows the mean resting systolic blood pressure data for the 18 people included in the investigation. So before after 12-week exercise program, mean resting systolic blood pressure, KPA, and the sample standard deviation and standard error. So we have to fill in the blank in this table. That is, we have to find out the standard error. So for this calculation, the formula has been given. That is the standard this formula. They have given this formula. So for this purpose, we are going to write this as the formula they have given. Standard deviation is equal to S over n under root, where S is the sample standard deviation and n is the sample size. For this purpose, we are going to write the formula over here. Standard deviation is equal to SE is equal to S is 1.33 in this case, 1.33 and divided by 18, under root 18. So the under root of 18 is 4.24, and then SE is equal to 0.31. You can calculate it by yourself. So the answer will be 0.31. So here we have to take the root, under root 18 people. So the n is equal to 18, and we have to take the under root of 18. So this is the answer. We are moving towards the second part of this question, which is suggest why it is helpful to calculate the standard error for the mean resting systolic blood pressure before and after the 12-week exercise program. So here we have to identify the given values for before. Sample standard deviation, which is 1.33, and sample size was 18. We applied the formula, and then uh, we calculated. And then after calculating, we came to know that it shows how close the calculated sample mean to the true mean of the entire population. So it also allows for the calculation of confidence intervals to determine if the difference is testing systolic blood pressure before and after the 12-week exercise program is statistically significant or due to change. So I would like to write all this over here, which I have told you. So measurement shows how close the calculated sample mean is to the true mean of the entire population. Mean of the entire population. And then second, we can write it also shows it allows for the calculation of confidence intervals. To determine if the difference in resting systolic blood pressure before and after the 12-week exercise program is statistically significant or due to drugs. So it was all about this question number 1. So please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.